Something maybe we can all sing together. The song is called Kazak. We have come from near and far to raise our voice in song. We join in the refrain, the more we feel strong. Kazak, Kazak, veni Kazak. There is a power in this place and time. It shapes the rest of our lives. For when we return each year, we find a truth we can't deny. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek. Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek. As we sing, we link ourselves to those who came before. And we're one with all those yet to come. Our strength, it will endure. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek. That was a song that I wrote about a little over 10 years ago for my camp, Goldman Union Camp in Zionsville, Indiana. Goldman Union Camp is one of our union camps, one of the 14 union camps from around North America. Serves people that live in the Midwest, just like Jacob serves people who live around here in the Deep South. A very important place, a holy place. And thought it would be appropriate to start with that in this little segment, a little story about me and why I'm even here in the first place. I remember being 7 years old, sitting in my bedroom on the edge of my bed with my mom. I can remember my mom saying, "Danny, do you want to come to temple with me tonight?" And I remember saying, "Mom, what's temple?" See, when I was 7, my whole family converted to Judaism. Before that, there were no Jews on either sides of our family. Why in the world would we do this? Well, I can tell you that I remember my mom always said she was a very spiritual person, but she was searching for a language with which she could communicate. So she started studying in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we lived at the time, with Rabbi John Stein. Started studying an Intro to Judaism class that was very fascinating, and my mom and dad are close, so I'm sure she came home to my dad and said, "Bill, this is amazing, you have to come." So my dad started going to the class too. They were fascinated and inspired, and after a year and a half, our family became a Jewish family, which seemed like fine. An okay thing. I didn't really understand it one way or the other. Not a negative meeting with it, not a positive, it just was. Until something happened. It was maybe a year and a half later that my mom said, "Danny, there is a camp down the road from our house. It's called Union Camp Institute. Would you like to spend a summer there?" Okay. Union Camp Institute in the 70s later became Goldman Union Camp Institute. I started going there when I was 9. It was only a year and a half after my family made this transition. The first time I heard Chaverai Nevarech, first time I heard Birkat Hamazon was in the dining hall at Goldman Union Camp. I learned to read Hebrew at Goldman Union Camp. I had my bar mitzvah at Goldman Union Camp. I learned to play the guitar, my first chords at camp. I got my first real job caring for people by being a counselor at camp. I was trained to be a song leader at camp. I got my first job as a song leader at camp. I met my wife at camp. And while these results aren't typical, this is my truth. And I'm with you tonight because of what camp gives our kids. And it's not just for Danny Nichols in the mid-70s. It's not just Goldman Union Camp. It's what we do when we come together and we build a family and we build a story that has a definite beginning and a middle and an end. When we do that and we're in close relation with each other, when we study and celebrate Torah, each other, identity, learning what it means to struggle and come through that struggle, what it means to fail and succeed and come through that in relation to other people, amazing, holy, powerful things happen. And many of you know this. And so I'd like to end my time with a story that it goes beyond camp, but is so affirming and leaves me with a real sense of hope for what we can continue to do, even if we are not in camp because we are experiencing the wintertime and camp doesn't happen in January, or we may be too old to go to camp. What next? About 4 years ago, I was visiting a school in Southern California. It was called the Morashah Jewish Day School. I got a telephone call from their teacher. She said, "Our 6th grade has a special graduation project. Here's what we like to do. We like to bring some sort of Jewish artist in and do some kind of Jewish project with them. Would you like to do this? We'd like you to come." Tell me more. Well, this year our study theme is Jewish texts based on the idea of tikkun olam, of repairing the world. We want to study Jewish texts, Jewish sources that comment on this throughout the ages. And then we'd like you to help us write a song. So I flew out there as fast as I could, and we spent a whole day. We sat on the floor all day long, reading Jewish texts, studying, had discussions, writing our answers on big blackboards, and had break for lunch. We had a great time, and then it was time to get down to writing. And we started writing our song. And then it was 3 o'clock, and the day was ending. And it was time for me to fly back home to Raleigh. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was time for me to fly back home. And I was met with this real challenge because the song sounded nice and the words rhymed, but it didn't sound like it mattered. And I was afraid to tell them this because who am I? They don't know me. I'm just some guy that came in today. They don't know me. That's a lot to say to 9 6th graders. And I was afraid. And I met that fear, and I went right through the door, and I said, okay, let me tell you, this song is nice. The words rhyme. It's lovely. And it sounds like you just want to get home, drink a Mountain Dew, and play Xbox. If you are willing, I'm willing to come back out, and we'll spend another day writing, and we can see what can happen, because I think there's more in there. And I was terrified. And they said yes. And so a month later, I flew back out, and we spent a whole other day writing. And what came out was a song I'd like to share with you, and it's on that sheet. It's a song called Ani Shomer et Ha'adama. I am a guardian of the earth. I want you to know the melody actually comes from a Brazilian folk song. This folk song is called Luar do Sutau, which means the moon of the backlands. And part of the song says, "Oh, you in the cities with your bright lights have no idea how beautiful the light shines for me in my home in the backlands." I brought this melody to them, and these words, every word, belongs to these 9 6th graders. We have some things we can sing. The chorus. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. And the other part is just a bit of a nigun, and it goes, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. parts come through, won't you sing those with me? I hear a voice calling me to care for the world. Now's the time to take first steps, there's no turning back. This mountain that's in front of me is my purpose, my being, me. This voice is God calling me to care for the world. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. My life is filled with challenges I'll have to overcome. The journey's rough, I won't give up until the climb is done. I struggle in the shadows and see the light ahead. I pray God renew my hope and realize my strength. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. I stand on this mountain and look back at my life and finally understand why I am here. I see a greener planet that I helped to repair. I hear a voice calling me to keep singing this song. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. Ani shomer et ha'adama. My prayer for all of us tonight is that we can find a way to continue to build relationships the way we do at camp, the way we do here when we come together and we ask ourselves the question and we really listen and we challenge each other to go deeper and go farther. What kind of holiness could we discover together? Ani shomer